We have greater groundbreaking information for you parents because it's been showed that the Bank of America was using Ripple and XRP quietly and behind the curtain. This is big due to the fact the Bank of America is the second largest financial institution within the United States, with $303 trillion in property below control, and is considered a systemically critical financial institution. Now, this bank is so solid that even the greatest investor of all time, Warren Buffett, has Bank of America's inventory make up 11.88% of his portfolio. That's pretty massive considering it's miles the 0.33 biggest protecting proper in the back of Apple and American Express. However, it is no longer the information surrounding Bank of America using Ripple that I'm genuinely interested by, however greater, so why they stored it below wraps. What passed off alongside the manner? Is the Bank of America nonetheless the usage of Ripple Tech and XRP? Will they hold to use them now that Trump and a crypto-pleasant regulator may be in power? And what would that do to the charge of XRP? I'll cover all this, and I'll also cover the modern information surrounding the Ripple stablecoin without delay from Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, and considered one of his modern-day interviews because it'll play a big function in how banks preserve to use Ripple Tech and the XRP ledger. Though, as constantly, my friend, in case you're feeling blessed and bullish, remark 777, and if you're going to be the wealthiest man or woman for your family tree, wreck the subscribe button. Hello and welcome return to the channel Bull Runners. If you are new, right here, my call is Paul Ensai. You could find me on Twitter or X at PauliDeFi, PAULIEDEFI. Now, without a doubt, quick to start this video, what we are going to do is we're going to dive into the price motion and charts on XRP and Bitcoin as properly because I assume we're at a completely vital turning factor and a support that desires to be held for markets to continue to do properly into the relaxation of this new 12 months. That said, we will then dive into all of this facts surrounding Bank of America and just how included the Ripple organization surely changed into due to the fact this is going to be counted shifting ahead as extra banks adopt Ripple era as it solidifies them as a legitimate player in blockchain tech for banks. Now, it's one element. When you have banks global, which are usually smaller in smaller international locations with smaller GDPs, but it is any other factor while you in reality have the second largest bank in the nation and within the world on the subject of systemically crucial banks using your era that is going to create FOMO and pave the way for other banks that are a ways larger to apply Ripple as properly. So now, presently on the day XRP is down 2.1% down on the week, 6.44% down on the week, 6.44% down on the week, 6.44%. However, it's miles outperforming Ethereum, being down 7.39%, and it has consistently been toying with that 3 by using marketplace cap. In different phrases, Tether has now handed it thinking about quite a few. Cash is flowing into Tether from all of the other cryptocurrencies, even as something like XRP is dumping because the entire marketplace is dumping. So, typically, whilst you observe all of those unique cryptos, observe how a good deal the bulk of them are dumping besides for USD tokens. In different phrases, when you have an economic surroundings in which matters are searching pretty bearish, it's kind of like an ocean. These are all fish in the sea. And on the stop of the day, if the tide is getting decrease, then the majority of the fish in the sea will also follow because, obviously, they're no longer going to take a seat above the water. Typically, they're underwater proper. So that said, it is genuinely critical to be aware of what occurs to something like Bitcoin, which we're going to take a look at here in a second. Then we are going to take a look at XRP. Then we are going to dive into the information. So there may be this genuinely cool characteristic on TradingView in which I can do chart replays. In different words, the chart has now moved forward. We're presently sitting on January 9th, which should be round here. But I did a replay via this range simply to expose you how to assume an appearance and operate in a marketplace environment like this. Now that said, we had our previous halt time high come someday in March. Then we had like an 8-year long range and an intermediate term. Downtrend earlier than a breakout, and you may argue that breakout certainly happened proper right here sometime in October, and the marketplace genuinely started rallying into the Trump election news, which triggered it to break proper lower back into that $75,000 to $76,000 range on the 6th. the day after or maybe the morning of the election. So that said, we had this case proper right here. You ought to even argue that this became our previous all-time excessive. And then when we broke above this, as you can see, we had a resistance right here. This breakout proper here confirmed that we have been moving to new all-time highs. Now, our new all-time high on Bitcoin was $108,000. And I'll move in advance, and boom, the size of that. And then we had a situation in which if I just take and toss a trend line proper around here, you may see, and no longer even a trend line, I must say, a horizontal guide and resistance. As we broke right into this variety right here, you can see we had a massive antique wake right here for a sell-off. Then a guide, breakdown help, new all-time high, 108,000. Breakdown aid, breakdown support, and I will just play it out one by one. And as you could see here, permits move in advance and replay that simply again. As you could see right here, the marketplace form of attempted to rally, however, endured breaking down, and I'll do one bar at a time. Now, in this sort of a scenario, humans concept this became a head and shoulders, right? You have your shoulder right here, you have your head right here, and then you definitely have your shoulder right here. This would be the neckline. So a breakdown right here should take us down for a 100% flow, go into reverse to like $73,000. No, that's stated. That obviously did not manifest, and the marketplace clearly persevered to rally to the upside for ruin above that $99.00 range very currently, up to 102. Best to peer the marketplace smash right back pedal, and I'll display you proper now to this variety. So, in all truth, simply because we did not get the breakdown right here, this can also be a bull entice. So, permit me, go ahead and remove those drawings. And that is why I suppose it's so critical to be aware of what happens with Bitcoin proper now, as it will have an effect on the whole crypto market. Many human beings could examine something like this and say, oh man, now we're going to break out and rally. But the reality is, we still have failed to break above this previous all-time high. So this can be the begin of a brand new intermediate term, a long-term downtrend, I have to say, considering this would now be textbook head and shoulders. This could be our shoulder, this will be our head, this would be our next shoulder, and a spoil underneath this $92.92 range may be very, very dangerous. This wasn't it right here. This is without a doubt the shoulder, and on the give up of the day this is still a lower high, and doubtlessly even a bear entice, right? The market rallied beyond the previous range high. For this high right here started breaking down, and a breakdown once more right now will be very risky for almost all of the crypto marketplace. If this breakdown happens again, or even worse the second time, the marketplace will regard this as a definite bottom. So if Bitcoin fails to be supported here and starts to trend again up into that $100,000 range, that is very, very risky territory, not only for Bitcoin but for all cryptos and XRP. Now, while you look at something like XRP, it's miles outperforming Bitcoin right now, and to show that, I will pull up the chart of XRP. Here's the chart of XRP from the neighborhood lows at around 49 cents. Right after the the election results, XRP pumped and rallied for nearly a 500% flow, up to $2.90. If I pull up the chart of Bitcoin on a percent scale from that genuine identical time frame on November 4th, and the local lows, I'll move beforehand and do this right now, this green line is the rate action on Bitcoin. In other words, XRP